everyone. Welcome back to our Budacast. We are on episode 16. Matt, our man in charge, could not be with us today. He is dealing with some iPhone issues. So today we have Ray.
Hello.
And we have and we have Jim.
Hiya.
And myself, the lone lady voice of Entertainment Buddha. So today we are going to be talking about a few things. We will be touching on, of course, the little game that came out called Destiny. We will also be talking about the major Microsoft purchase with Minecraft and about Tusk and anything else that comes up in between. So to start things off, we will go ahead and touch on movies. We'll do things different today. So
Caught me off guard.
I sure did.
I'm sitting up in my chair now, so.
You see, gotta make sure you're on your A game. So, is anyone going to be seeing anything this weekend?
I'm going to see Tusk, certainly, as you mentioned in our little introduction there. I think I mentioned a few or whatever the last cast I was on, probably, that I was very excited about Tusk as a Kevin Smith fan. So for those of you who don't know, it's Kevin Smith of Jay and Silent Bob fame. It's his new film, but it's a little bit different than I guess a lot of his past body of work might indicate, when basically the setup is got a couple guys that are podcasters, much like we ourselves are doing right now. But they decide to go investigate a story that takes place in Canada, and kind of what happens after that's where it gets a little weird. We find ourselves watching a man attempt to turn another man into a walrus, hence the name Tusk. And I think it might be the most brilliant premise I've ever heard for a film. And as a big Kevin Smith fan, I am super excited to see it. Today's opening day, so hopefully I can get over there soon.
Yeah. I agree. I won't be able to get to see it tonight, but I am probably going tomorrow, probably first thing in the morning. And to touch on the premise of the film, to my understanding, it actually came up during a podcast that he was doing, and it actually just ended up turning into a film. So yeah, probably the lesson that we can learn from this, even though we haven't seen the movie, is we're doing podcasts. We'll never follow a story because we might get turned into some sort of crazy animal or something.
There are a few animals, I think, if someone did turn me into one, I wouldn't be too pissed. A walrus would suck, I think.
Yeah.
But like if someone turned me into a sick like falcon or something, I'd be pretty cool with that. So
yeah,
if you're listening and you can do that, just let me know.
Yeah. What about you, Benson?
Just give me the power of being a warg. So, I'm still a person, but I can control other animals.
That's fine too. Yeah. I'll take that.
So,
Are there any other movies of note out actually right now?
I know another movie that came out is called Maze Runner, but I'm pretty sure it's based on some young adult novel, which almost everything that's coming out.
Are you telling me this is a month where there isn't a superhero movie?
I know. Oh my God.
What the fuck? Oh my God.
Benson must be so happy.
Am I winning?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Are they listening to me?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, now everything...
Guardians of the Galaxy is still number 3 in the box office, so I guess
I'm
no one wants to go up. Yeah, it's still killing it.
Yeah, and it's the first movie of 2014 to break like 300 million domestically or something. So good job, Marvel, James Gunn, the cast, whatever. Because
I hope James Gunn makes Slither 2 now.
Oh my God, that movie's so good. I love that movie. Love it.
Oh, do you know what that reminds me? I need to go and see the second Sin City.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that either. Actually, I love Sin City, but I think I didn't hear anything super good about it. So
me neither. No, I read. I think it was Matt
like
he did the review, didn't he? And I read his review, and I was a little bit apprehensive because I didn't want to spoil it too much. But no, his review was it was. I think he enjoyed it, but he wasn't raving about
it. Yeah, he definitely he wasn't stoked on it.
After.
You're right.
But I read his review, and I did read a couple others, and they were all very similar to where it was good, but then the plot got really weird with the time jumps and...
Is it like Destiny, the film?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of had similar reviews, hasn't it? So.
Yeah, well, when we get to Destiny, I have some choice words for them, but I'm going to save that. But yeah, I mean, there really hasn't been anything else exciting in the movies because now that the spring, summer releases are slowly coming out of the theaters, they're now being released, which is perfect timing for the holiday season, of course. So all the superhero movies that you didn't get to see when they came out, you can go ahead and pick them up as they are being released.
Well, let's also not brush over that Dolphin Tale 2 is actually in theaters right now.
But listen, it's a like dolphin with a prosthetic fin, okay? I'm sorry. Who would not root for the dolphin to survive? Because without that, it would have died.
I fucking hate dolphins.
Hang on a minute. What are you just... I feel like I've just passed out and woke up mid-conversation. What the fuck? Are you going...
Yeah, this might only be in America, but about dolphins.
But it's based on
not a documentary.
Event. No, it's not a documentary.
I'm pretty sure it's Morgan Freeman.
This is cinema, not television. Yeah.
No, it's a movie. No, it's based on a dolphin that was rescued in Clearwater, Florida, and its fin was missing. So they took it to the Clearwater Aquarium, and they noticed that without the fin, the dolphin wouldn't survive. It was going to die. So one of the top leading makers of prosthetics actually created one to fit the dolphin and actually stay on so that the dolphin would live. And that was the premise of Dolphin Tale. And then I don't know about the second one. I know about the first one, but...
Yeah, that's definitely not a UK release.
No.
Sounds of it.
I might move over I can understand that it'd be now then.
The thing is, I can understand that it would be a nice little heartwarming.
Well, it's something for the kids, you know. Like that's what it is. Yeah. What was it in? I didn't get a chance to write the movie buff piece for this week because I've been busy with homework and life, so I didn't get a chance to. But the previous one that I did say, you know, if parents, if you want to be good and you want to get brownie points with the kids, like this is one that you can take them to see because it's...
Bring them to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if there's any movie right now for 2014 that anybody just needs to see, it's Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't care if I sound like a broken record when I say it, but you need to go see it.
I have no idea what Guardians of the Galaxy is. I know it's a film. I know it's very popular. I know it's got great reviews and lots of people love it.
It's
got Chris Pratt.
That's all I know,
dude. Let's go.
Superheroes, but they're not like they're not the kind that you're used to seeing. They're not your Spider-Mans or Batmans or Supermans. It's a band of misfits coming together in the most unlikely way ever, and they really are Guardians of the Galaxy, because if they don't come together...
Okay.
Yeah. It's really... I think that's one that you might enjoy, because it's not...
Well, do you know what? Funny we're talking about films like that. On a side note, I recently... Because I was saying for a long time that I hadn't seen the Nolan Batman films.
Right.
So I watched them. And...
All of them?
Yeah, there's... Okay. Well, I take it there's only 3, isn't
there? Yeah, 3.
You didn't see the secret 4th one? Are you kidding me?
Fuck off, right?
You amateur.
Yeah. No, I did enjoy them, particularly the first one.
Dude, yes, thank you. The first one's the best one.
Yes.
Yeah,
you and I are the only 2 people in the world who probably think that. But
the reason why is because he's so much more vulnerable. And like in the second film and the third film, and this is what turns me off of films of this kind of, ilk, is the fact that whenever Batman needs something, he just goes, hey, science guy, make me something. Hey, you, research department, do this for me. And that just pisses me off, because it's just like, well... It's too easy. It's too easy just to go, hey, I've come across a problem. Rather than trying to figure out a workaround, I just go to this guy who builds me a gadget or makes me something that will do that for me. And that annoys me. Whereas the first one was very much, he's trial and error, isn't he? All the time he tries to do things, but he succeeds to a certain degree. but then realizes, shit, I need to get better at this, or I need to make something that helps me, be slightly better rather than take care of everything for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I like the first one. I don't know whether Ray agrees on that one.
No, yeah, you're right. Point. And plus, I like Liam Neeson in it.
Oh, yeah.
There's the other thing.
As Raz.
I think that whole League of Shadows stuff is
Raz
super...
Did it not remind you of Mortal Kombat?
What's that?
I don't know why. I just thought of Mortal Kombat. The whole... don't know why. Honestly, I just watched it and League of Shadows. I just thought this is like...
Yeah, okay. I'll give it to you. We could watch the Mortal Kombat movie. That would be cool.
Yeah, about that.
Isn't there going to be a new one?
I hope so. I hope they make a new Street Fighter movie too, for fuck's sake,
Oh, you mean you didn't like the 1994 version?
No, I love it. I want another one.
The thing is, right, they've taken a lot of 90s movies. I mean, case in point, Turtles. Is the latest. They're taking 90s movies and trying to make them up to date, but they're choosing the wrong ones. I mean, Turtles was great. I mean, it's cheesy as fuck, but it was great.
Right, but that's the movie industry for you. I mean,
but Street Fighter was garbage and needs to be updated to make it good.
No, I want it to stay garbage.
You want it to stay garbage, really?
Yeah, I want it to be that same level of like
cheesiness.
As an actor, it's like we don't really give a shit what we're doing here.
Super Mario Brothers.
Oh my God! Yes,
that movie.
John Leguizamo.
I love that movie. I do.
It's super good. And that movie's. I love it. Defend that. I think that's a good movie.
The best part in the elevator when they start swaying the Goombas. Come on,
it's super sick. That and like the whole world they kind of create.
Yeah,
it's super like seedy and feels like Blade Runner sort of.
Yeah.
Like oh man, who directed that? That guy deserves like a high five.
Yeah. So. But just to touch on the Batman films, I like each one individually for their own reasons because it's different stages of where Bruce Wayne is as a person and how far Batman has come. Like, yeah, the first one, he's vulnerable. It's almost like he's proving himself and giving into that fear to make him stronger. But the second one, I think because he's never come across anyone like the Joker. And the Joker in the second one was completely different than Jack Nicholson's version, in Tim Burton's version. So it was a more realistic approach to it, which I liked. Oh
yeah, I enjoyed... I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy the second film and third film. They were both very enjoyable, but for me, if I had to pick one out of the three, it was definitely the first one.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting myself to really like the trilogy as a whole.
Yeah.
I thought I'd probably enjoy one, and then the other two I thought would be complete crap. But no, they were definitely enjoyable.
Yeah, I think
definitely, which surprised me.
Yeah, the second one stands out more, I think, because of the actors that they chose to, for their roles.
The reason why I think the second one stands out, and I'm not going to pussyfoot around, is because of Heath Ledger and the fact that he died.
Well,
yes,
no, that's true.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah, and I was...
and I don't...
No, I was going to say
I think it was a great performance, and I think a lot of people got carried away, but I wouldn't say...
I think Tom Hardy as Bane is a better performance, pound for pound, than Heath Ledger as the Joker. Granted, take my opinion with a grain of salt.
Yeah, no, that's it. No, I'm in agreement with you, Ray. And I don't want to obviously tarnish the performance and memory of Heath Ledger.
No,
but at the same time, I've got to give my honest opinion.
No, but that is true because at the time of its release, Heath Ledger did pass away. So of course, everyone is like, "Oh God, he passed away, and he's so good." Yeah, he was
very caught up in the emotion of it. Yeah,
but I can't think of the actor's name, but the guy that portrayed Harvey Dent, Two-Face, was really good in that role. I mean, and he's done a lot of movies that he's a really good actor.
Thank you for smoking, yeah.
Yes. And if you didn't recognize him, he was in Aaron Brockovich too. He was the biker guy, but he's got like a beard and a long handlebar mustache and long hair. Right,
what is his name?
It's Aaron something. I know that. I don't know his last name.
Aaron Eckert, right?
Yes.
Right? Yes. Right? Yeah,
there we go. You see?
Nailed it.
When Anna and Ray come together, great things happen. Look at that. But yeah, good actor. And then Tom Hardy. I really liked his portrayal as Bane.
I just really like Tom Hardy. He's the best.
He's a great actor.
Oh, speaking of Tom Hardy, because we are on movies, he's got a movie coming out called The Stop, and I'm interested in it because he's got this really cool Brooklyn accent, and it wouldn't even sound like him. Yeah. And
what's it called?
It's called
really
The
odd.
Drop, and
Drop.
And I think the premise of the film is he is kind of like the in-between guy where he picks up drops of money for like deals and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it now. The like the movie poster for it. Holy crap! It is cool.
Yeah, and James Gandolfini is in it too. But
really,
yeah. But I'm more impressed with his accent than anything.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make sure that we're gonna have to link the trailer when we have this poster live. But
yeah, so
that's a dude I wouldn't picture ever putting on an accent like that.
Yeah, and it's
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Obviously, he sounds as English as me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quite a change, isn't it?
Yeah, and
and like not just his voice, but like just going back to the Batman thing.
Yeah, I mean, and
the dude, like if you see him in one of his early role, you've seen he's in Band of Brothers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only for a very short period of time, but he's in that. And if you put the picture of him in Band of Brothers next to the picture of him as Bane, it's like he's like tripled in size.
Yeah.
Even look at like Rock and Rolla to like Bronson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Bronson. What a film that is. Yeah.
Oh my God, that movie. But like he's a tremendously talented actor, and the sheer fact that he can, much like Christian Bale actually, like he can change his appearance as much or as little as needed. And I think that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, that New York accent is always like, you know, drinking my coffee and, you know, things like that. But he's got, like, he adds this rasp to it almost. It's really hard to describe. It almost sounds like he really is a guy who came right out of Brooklyn, and I'm blown away by it. So yeah.
Cool. That actually, I think that just came out too, didn't it? The Drop.
I don't know if it came out this weekend or if it's coming out the following weekend, but I'm interested in it because it's Tom Hardy.
Yeah, no, now you've officially piqued my interest. So,
so yeah. Is there anything else that we would like to talk about with movies? Because we can move on to TV. And there's a show coming out called The Walking Dead
Never heard of it. Sounds shit.
It's about zombies, and it's like another post-apocalyptic, you know, like world, which almost everything that's coming out is like that. But, you know, that's your thing. You know.
So like I'm trying to remember they're in the kind of like a safe zone, but it's not safe, isn't it? If I remember,
they go to they end up in Terminus.
Hold on. Before we go too far into this, I will go on the record and say I didn't finish the last season.
Oh,
did you get annoyed with it? Did you?
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it was horse hockey, if you will.
Okay.
So I'm not worried about spoilers. Let's put it that way.
Well, then
everyone was being a little bitch, and everyone else hates everyone else, I'm sure, and they argued some, and then maybe someone got bit by a zombie. Is that season 4? I guess in a nutshell.
Not quite, but
kind of. But
before we go any further, we'll go ahead and say that this will be filled with spoilers because we will talk about the show, and I will do my best to not bring up moments from the comic that could potentially end up in the series. Because I have read the comics, I'm not completely caught up. But Ray, to touch on that, season 4 was basically post-prison.
Right. I did watch some of it. I watched the last episode I distinctly remember was what's his name? Silent Hills. Norman Reedus, Daryl. Okay. Daryl. I remember him and
Beth,
Herschel's daughter, partying it up at his dad's house and burning it down. And I think Glenn was looking for Maggie and was with some sketchy CIA army people.
Yeah. So Glenn met up with Abraham, Eugene, and Rosalita. So Abraham and like those three, like just what they introduce to the comic is crazy because Abraham is like Rick, but like certifiably crazy because of some of the things that he had to do. Rosalita, I mean, she's whatevs. She's just, I don't know, I think more of a love.
Rosalita looks like no offense to the actress, but looks like she's a piece of ass for the show.
Right. But I mean,
that's what it looks like to me.
That is sexist.
She's kind of,
I'm not a sexist person, but that's the way the show portraying her as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, she's kind of like that in the comic too. So, I mean, it's not, I mean,
she's a hot mamacita, if you will.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's bring it to that level. Okay.
And then Eugene is claiming that there is a cure of Washington, D.C. and that they need to get to Washington, D.C. So that's pretty much like with Glenn and meeting up with them. And that's what Glenn is trying to do.
And I think that was the episode where I said, this is too stupid for me.
Yeah.
And stopped.
Yeah.
The thing is,
my girlfriend, we've talked about like, oh, we need to finish it before the 5th season comes on. So I'm sure I will watch it at some point. But
and then
the thing is, right, series 3 I thought was crap.
Well,
I didn't enjoy season 3 whatsoever.
Yeah, I have issues
season
with that.
4, it's done in a completely different way because it's very piecemeal.
Right.
And everything's really fragmented. So that might, I don't know whether that kind of...
Well, the way that season 4 started, like that very first episode with, oh my God, Carl, like that whole scene with him, like just acting out like that.
Fluff. That was disgusting.
Yeah, pudding. You want some pudding?
Was it pudding?
Yeah.
That was it, not fluff.
A majority of that was taken right out of the comic, except he's just screaming at Rick.
Is Carl a complete cunt in the comics then? Because I can't stand Carl.
Is he more of a hard boy in the comics?
Sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's been part of my issue with the show is that they've taken some really great characters and reduced them to these minor roles, and they've kind of built up other characters greater to be, better than they are in the comic. And I mean, whatever, to each their own, that's but that's my opinion. I feel that some of the characters should have been better on the show. And that's why I'm excited for season 5 because Rick is a badass in the comic, like bad fucking ass. Like don't mess with him because if he's gonna rip your throat out like he did, he will. That was.
How's Andrew Lincoln's accent, by the way? Because he's
British, isn't he?
Yeah,
he is British. Yeah, he is. And the way he says Carl, it's almost like he's saying Coral.
Carl. It's more of a southern draw because they're in Atlanta, so a lot of people.
He does have a goofy, like put on southern accent.
Yeah,
right.
So
I don't know.
Picture it now.
I don't know. That's why I asked.
Which is the same way, like Maggie. Like Lauren Conrad. She's another British one who has that southern drawl.
I had no idea. She was she was from
if you listen to her talk,
Well, I think the best television actors come from the other side of the pond, if you will.
Yeah.
Don't say it. We're taking over your TV shows.
Good. Yeah. Thank God.
But
I don't have any kind of loyalty whatsoever, but yeah, I've noticed there is a lot of actors from the UK that are making a small fortune.
Yeah.
Well, I think television is the way to go now. Movies is I don't really care as much as about movies anymore.
Yeah, television's kind of caught them with their pants down, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and I think, it's kind of a return to form for television because that was by far...
Shit. We're talking about TV. I won't mention it because we're talking about The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But me and Ray could go off on something. But we'll talk about Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Now I want to know what I could go off on.
Yeah.
Begins with a W.
W.
And it's getting a HD redub
The Wire.
Yo.
I haven't seen The Wire, so
we need to get Hershey and just do like a Wire cast.
I think when it drops.
Yeah,
because it's supposed to be at the end of this month.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, back to The Walking Dead. I'm just gonna think about The Wire now then.
But yeah, basically season 4 kind of felt like season 2. You know, all that time on the farm and I mean, it was stupid. It was dumb.
Well, I don't know. I think it felt a bit more like 1, to be honest with you, because I think 3 was more like 2 because it was very static.
Yeah.
Well, and 1 was a little bit more. There's a lot more movement involved
with
1
3
from going from place to place.
With 3, I really think they milked the whole prison thing.
Yeah, it took far too long.
Yeah, it took far too long, and I mean. And not for nothing, but the way that the governor died was complete horseshit to me. Like, I feel like they took the easy way out because in the comic he gets ripped apart by walkers. I mean, just brutally, just blah. And not only that, but a lot of things that happened to him in the comic book didn't really happen. Like him and Michonne have such a horrible relationship because he actually rapes her and beats her, and she comes back to get her revenge on him, and she cuts off his leg, she cuts off his penis, cuts off his arm, like rips, takes his eye out. So I mean,
that should have been in there.
It should have, but all they did was a fight with the two of them, and that was
I
it.
Fucking hated the governor.
Oh,
honestly.
yeah.
Hated him.
He was a piece of shit.
Really
and then how
he was my favorite character.
Merle. Sorry, Merle was.
Oh, you're right. No, you're
just
right.
a complete arsehole.
Yeah, Merle actually. I changed my mind that quickly. Merle was.
I was going to try and do his accent, but he's like, "Hey there, sugar tits." Just like
he was the creepy
Merle.
like old uncle that you're not really related to at the family party. He's just wasted by like noon.
Is it season 3 when Daryl goes off to he's like hunting something and he ends up like hurting himself, like banging his head. And he does. He goes off hunting something and like his horse.
I think they go after
throws him or some shit.
I think,
and
he's
climbing. He's like trying to climb back up this cliff face or rock face, and he's having visions of Merle. Do you remember that?
Oh,
I vaguely do.
I think that's season 4.
I've seen it regardless of what it was.
I'm sure. It wasn't season 4. It was either 2 or 3. No, it can't have been 2. It was 3.
No. I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. Now I can't remember what season. But
I was just going to say that's my favorite scene with Merle. Just like the dynamic, obviously, between the two brothers.
But
and at that time, like Daryl is still feeling a little bit of guilt for leaving Merle on the rooftop.
But I mean,
he's not. He doesn't know that he's still alive at this point.
But how is he gonna? I'm sorry. Like, how are you gonna feel bad? I get that's your brother, but I mean, he's an asshole. He's a piece of shit. He got on everybody's nerves, and it was an accident that the key fell down the drain.
I get the feeling that Daryl was a piece of shit as well.
Well,
Daryl definitely, yeah.
I mean, but you see, I think progression.
Before we've kind of come in, and he's been this kind of like unsung hero, and then suddenly he's become a bit of a hero. But I think before that, and Merle kind of points it out to him, doesn't he? He says, like, you weren't always this kind of in with the group. You used to be on the outside because you were a hard-nosed bastard like me, and you've robbed and you've murdered and you've done despicable things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he's so handsome, so who really cares?
Whatever. I'm not, no.
Hey, speaking of Norman Reedus, though.
Silent Hill.
There's Silent Hill.
Way to bring it back to games.
You see the,
no, I was just thinking about it like, man, that game's going to be scary as shit.
I saw the trailer
for
it, and I'm like, what am I looking at? I'm like, what is that thing down the end of the hallway? Why are all these toys moving? What the hell? What's going on?
Like a flaccid penis.
Oh,
that's me.
And there we go, Silent Hill, baby. You guys will remember I went on a very long rant in our non collusion filled group messaging stuff we do about the Silent Hill franchise, and if there are giant flaccid penises around. We've been saying penis a lot.
And
this
and I have a confession to make. I have never played a Silent Hill game, so I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. How about that? All I know,
Silent Hill 2, best of. See, I love the second one. I've loved Silent Hill 2, and I love Resident Evil 2.
Yeah,
for me, those two games.
You and I are sharing taste today, my man. Yeah,
I know, I know, right?
This is weird.
I just think they're the best of their.
That never happens.
Of their class, definitely. Silent Hill 2 was so creepy, and the thing is, at the time, like I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And
that's what makes it so good, though, because I was very young when it came out, and like to play it and shit my pants. Like
it was so scary, yeah.
And then like to be older and replaying it, be like, holy crap, that's what they were talking about. Like, whoa.
I think I hope that Kojima does take it in a different direction, like in a sense of. I remember you went off on one about saying like if there's slutty nurses in there,
yeah,
I'm gonna go fucking crazy.
Done. Yeah,
and I'm in the same boat when it comes to Pyramid Head. Because I think
he 100% does not belong to be in anything outside of Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because he's become kind of like a talisman.
You know what? And that's 100% why we see him. He looks cool, and B, it's like people associate that specifically because of the movies, I'd assume. But like that's what Silent Hill is. People determine.
There is an interesting point actually because it's not really a point, but. I remember on a podcast way back, I said that I saw the Silent Hill film and I was actually pleasantly surprised to see certain nods to the games. I wasn't I mean, the film was shit. There's no two ways about it. It was a fucking dire film, but I liked certain nods towards the game. So yeah, and Pyramid Head was in there, obviously. He's in the film. And it's kind of funny, I think, that people will think, oh my God, that guy with the really strange head. Like my missus, she's never played the Silent Hill games, but she really identified with the Pyramid Head character. You know, she's like, wow, you know, I don't like him was her thing. You know, he's scary.
You shouldn't like him.
Well,
I'm like, yeah, you try playing a fucking game. Like when there's him coming towards you.
And it's funny that you guys say that because I did see the movie. And again, I've never played any of the games, but if I ever saw the Slutty Nurses or Pyramid Head, I would know that they are from Silent Hill.
Yeah, it's iconic at this point.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, so for anyone who has never played the games, but, you know, there's certain things you can recognize. But yeah, I look forward to that. I mean, I've never played the games, but I'm a fan of horror games, and I'm pretty sure I'll probably stop playing a lot because I get anxious.
Legitimately do think it could be like too scary to play. Like legitimately, Like
Dead Space scary?
See, Dead Space, I don't want to, it would take me like an hour to explain what I personally find scary and stuff. And Dead Space doesn't bother me because I'll never go to outer space. So that's not something I have to worry about. Okay. But me winding up in a random town that starts to manifest itself as my deepest, innermost fears, that could happen to me.
So is it like Children of the Corn scary?
Children of the Corn scares the shit out of me, but more like it. Like there's a clown that can like be whatever it wants.
Pennywise, is that his name?
Yeah.
I would say, have you ever seen, I think it's a film called, is it Death Watch? It's like set in the First World War.
No, I don't think I've heard of it.
It's probably because I think it's a British film. It's about the First World War, and basically this group of British soldiers, they're in no man's land or whatever, doing some kind of mission, whatever. And a cloud of gas comes along. So they all have to get their gas masks on, and there's like a massive kerfuffle, and it's really misty. And they can't see a thing. And they come across this German trench. And basically loads of strange shit starts happening.
Ooh.
So if you want to see a film that's a really good representation, I think, of Silent Hill.
Okay. What was that called?
Purest, I believe it's called Death Watch. If my memory serves me correctly. But it's
no, you're right. It is Death Watch.
Yeah, and don't go into it. Don't go and watch it thinking this is going to be like Silent Hill. But like it's the essence. What made Silent Hill scary? I mean, like the fog, although at the time it was probably down to the fact that it was a kind of console limitation as well as a game mechanic, it was so incredibly effective.
Oh my God, yeah.
The first time I played Silent Hill, I was confused, and that's what was scaring me, because suddenly, like, I've got this radio that kept making a noise, and if I remember, the first scene is you outside of a diner, isn't it? And then you go into the diner to find out what's going on. And that's when you find like the radio and so it like sets it up perfectly. You just come to the entrance of this town. Things don't seem quite right, and the film is that as well. So like something happens.
Awesome.
You know, like a confused scenario, but they suddenly find themselves in like a familiar setting. You know, it's like, right, we're in a trench, so we'll secure the trench, which they do. Nobody seems to be around, but things start taking strange turns, and it's a really good film.
Okay. And
I think anyway, it's quite a decent scary film, and very much reminds me of Silent Hill.
It is, and just so you guys know too, it is in fact available on Netflix streaming.
Shut up.
In the US. Yeah.
Shut up. I'm so watching it this weekend.
I know. Thank you. Good. I bought some beer earlier, so now I know what I'm doing after this.
So just to sidetrack really quick, because you mentioned beer. So what kind of beer? What'd you buy?
What did I get? I got oh shit. Was it? Oh, I know my girlfriend got pumpkin. She likes pumpkin stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get it. Pumpkin, I think, to me is the most disgusting flavor humanly possible.
But what about pumpkin pie?
I don't like pumpkin.
Oh, okay.
I like pumpkin seeds, and then I got just some flying dog. So.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I was just curious.
Yeah, there we go.
I just want to quickly mention something. You know, I mean, as most people probably have played the PT demo. If you're on a PS4, I should imagine you've played it. If you've got an Xbox One, I'm pretty sure you've probably watched someone play it. Did you find, Ray, that it reminded you of Silent Hill 4? The
Room? Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. 100%. You're right.
I don't think a lot of people picked up on that, but to me, once I found out it was Silent Hill, I suddenly started making the connection. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
It really reminded me of The Room.
I think thematically and the way, the repetition of it, I think that's where Silent Hill 4 comes in.
And each time, obviously, something slightly odd, slightly different. Like, the first time, like when you're looking out the door,
oh, dude, yeah.
And you see someone sweeping the floor. Now, to me, that was, I don't know why, but I was freaked out by that. I thought, he's going to do something. But something ain't right here. He's definitely going to do something. And obviously, it's just a guy sweeping his floor. There's nothing, and obviously, later on.
Is that the moments where you're playing the game and you're expecting the worst or something to pop out or something to happen and it doesn't happen, you just walk on by?
Yeah. Yeah.
Silent Hill, in terms of horror, did something so well at its core in that it wasn't like Resident Evil where you're walking and something jumps through the effing window and starts attacking you.
Right.
Yes, you were fighting stuff, but it would be the kind of horror where there's a locker.
Is it? So it's more...
And something looks weird about that locker, and that locker sounds like there's breathing in it.
So it's more psychological?
It is psychological to its core.
Okay.
It stays with you long. I mean, look, I haven't played a Silent Hill game in a couple of years. We could sit here for another 2 hours and just discuss that stuff. It stays with you. And PT or Silent Hills or whatever we're calling it, like I think this is going to be pretty goddamn awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to scare the shit out of me. I will admit that, but I'm going to love every second of it.
Yeah, I must admit, a lot of people went off about PT saying about how, it's the scariest game this, scariest game that. I wouldn't say it's the scariest game I've ever played. I've played a lot of games that have freaked me out. But it did very, very well. And I think I talked about it on the last podcast with Matt. So if you're interested to hear what I say, then go back and give that one a listen. But in a nutshell, like Ray was saying, like the repetition, the fact that it was the structure of it, we're talking about a right-angled corridor, and that's it. And the way that you reset the loop, you go through the door, and that something might happen. moment you turn this corridor.
It's like you're
the anticipation.
Out,
yeah. The anticipation, like when you're 2 feet away from turning that corner, there's a very, very keen sense of trepidation. So
I don't know how I'm going to do.
Did it very, very well. Although apparently the as we've seen, it's going to take elements of that. But I really would like someone to do a first-person horror game like that. That is just fucks with your head. That's what I want.
I think a lot of games try to do like Amnesia and all that stuff, but I don't know.
Amnesia is a very much more direct horror because you have something
and that's
that
more
chases
just
you.
like try to spook you with the jump scare and then try to paint this semi-important like, oh, this is spooky stuff happening backstory. But no, if you just gave me a straight up first person game where it's like some of the stuff you're going to see, kid, is going to make you feel sick and, sat me in a dark room, I would be the happiest, most terrified person you could imagine.
Yeah. See, I mentioned on the other podcast that there's a game that I think is on par with the PT demo trailer, whatever the fuck. But it does it in a completely different way, but achieves the same kind of goal as such, which is to unnerve you, is what I gathered from PT. A lot of people seem to be really scared, but for me it was more unnerving. It was to make me feel uncomfortable. And it's a game called Gone Home. And Gone Home... Okay, spoiler alert, if you've not played Gone Home, don't listen. Have you guys played Gone Home?
Yes.
You have. So you know how the game kind of like is constantly trying to set you up for something.
Is it on PC, console, what?
It's on PC.
Oh, so I haven't played it, so you can go ahead and spoil it.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So spoilers. If you don't want to listen, then I advise that you don't. Anyway, so Gone Home constantly is reinforcing this idea that it's going to scare you, that it's going to make you jump, that something's not right. You have returned home and nobody's in your household. Your mum's not there, your dad's not there, and your sister's not there. And it just seems like I said, something's at odds. Something's going to happen. Something awful has happened, or something awful is about to happen. So anyway, as you're playing along, you actually start to realise that it's a very, very heartwarming tale. It completely plays with your expectations because at the end of it, you find out that your sister has basically run away with her lover, and your parents have gone off. I think they've gone off looking, haven't they? I can't quite remember what the parents are doing, which is why the house is empty. There's actually nothing like wrong as such. There's like one jump scare throughout the entire thing, but the rest is all about atmosphere. It's all about putting you in a situation, making you feel uncomfortable and letting your brain run wild and start playing with possible situations and scenarios in your head. And when you actually get to the climax, it's a completely different surprise. I mean, by the kind of like towards the end of it, you're starting to piece it together and you realise that it's not actually what it's trying, it's doing a bait and switch pretty much.
Interesting.
And that's what I think PT is like. It does like puts you in a situation, makes you feel really uncomfortable, like something isn't right. And PT is obviously very much more direct because it's trying to be a horror. It's trying to scare you. But I think what it does extremely well is unnerve you to the very core. So I don't know whether Ray thinks the same or whether I'm just alone on that. But
no, I mean, I think you're right in terms of, PT as a demo. I'm sure Kojima and Del Toro and the rest of the team set out and said, all right, how do we, kind of express our message of we're here to make a game that, is supposed to be scary, but how are we going to make it stand out? And I think they succeeded specifically with that repetition and that simple fact that I know every single time I'm going to be walking down this corridor, I'm going to start to turn right. And I know what it looks like this time. And I know what scared me the last time. I'm going to look for that, but I'm also, you're on your toes all the time saying what the hell is going to be different this time.
Yeah. And they obviously would play with that.
Yeah. And so much of it,
nothing would be different.
Yeah. And then you make it through that loop and you say, okay, that was fine. And then the next time you get the shit, spooked out of you or so on and so forth. I'm excited. I really am. I love Kojima. go to my deathbed saying that. Right. So
cool. So
yeah,
moving on to the next topic, which is Destiny. So, has anyone else besides myself played it?
No, I have not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have not played it.
So
I've heard a lot about it. A lot of people have talked to me about it. I've read a lot about it.
Okay.
And I played the alpha and the beta.
And the beta.
I haven't.
Yeah. Okay. So what I can tell you is the alpha and the beta is pretty much what the game is like. I haven't unlocked everything. I'm not at that point yet. I've only unlocked Venus. I haven't done any missions. Each mission is level specific. So as you progress, that's the level of difficulty that it'll be to what your level is. You can change it from normal to hard, easy, things like that. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me because I associate Bungie with Halo, and I tried really hard not to do that, but you can't look at this game or play this game and not think that 20% of this game is Halo. From the movement of enemies to how they sound, to the weapons, to your ghost, which acts like the guilty spark, and but I don't know.
It's still its own game, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still its own game. But a lot of those things stick with me, and I'm disappointed by the fact that I haven't come across a lot of loot, which is one of the things that they were talking about, like this big MMO and, play with your friends and go on these raids and get all this loot. And the problem is that with each level and each planet that you go to, whenever you get loot and you get armor, it's level specific to that. So you can't come back to it and find it. So if you're level 25, it's not going to be level 25 armor. It'll be level 10 or whatever that mission was.
Right.
I haven't really done any of the multiplayer. Well, it's called the Crucible. I haven't really done.
Yeah, surely that's where it's going to shine, though, because
I'm pretty sure. But again, because of school and life and all that fun stuff, I haven't.
It's going to be interesting because with the what's it called, Master Chief Collection?
Oh, God.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the Master Chief Collection.
I mean, when that drops, it'll be interesting to see how many people transfer over from Destiny. And it'll be nice to see, like, obviously how 343 have carried it over, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
From their point of view, they're going to think, right, well, we're not trying to make a new game here. We're not making a new IP. We're just taking what's already established and updating it.
Yeah, updating it.
It'll be interesting to see how people can then directly compare the next gen Halo with the Bungie's IP.
Yeah, and I think
they've treated Destiny.
And I also feel like part of it is, well, like my husband said, it's just because it's Bungie, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same people that made Halo are making Destiny, because a lot of the staff moved on to other studios, whether they went on to work for 343 or whatever. It's not the same people. It's just the studio. But I feel that with some of the mechanics, I just feel like it was an easy cop out, because with a game like Destiny, there was all this opportunity to really do something different. I mean, really, like, your whole tagline is become a legend.
They talked it up a hell of a lot, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
And me and Matt, we mentioned last week that it had the Watch Dogs effect of being so overhyped that me and him at the time were just totally like, this is... we didn't think it'd blow. We didn't think it'd suck or anything. We just thought, it's so hyped, it's not going to live up to the expectation.
My whole thing was, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't only here in the US. I'm pretty sure it was all over wherever they could advertise for it, but they had a Simpsons marathon where it was literally for a week and a half. every single episode from The Simpsons was being aired, but it was sponsored by Activision. So every single commercial break was a stupid Destiny commercial, and Diablo 3 because it was coming out, but it wasn't as much as Destiny. Every single time I'm like, you know what? I don't care about this game anymore. If you're going to shove it down my throat every single commercial break, I don't want to buy it.
Yep, totally agreed.
Me and my husband had contemplated on getting the Ghost Edition because, we like things like that. But the more we got to talking, it was like, we'll just get the game. We'll get the game. We'll get the expansion pass and, all that stuff. But that's as far as it goes. I mean, and as far as the story goes, it's boring. It's so
see, I'm going to pick it up next year when it's at rock bottom.
Yeah.
And everyone's forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's when we can start playing together too.
Yeah,
I definitely want to play it, but I just don't.
But
I don't think it's worth the money.
Yeah.
I'm basing this also off of the alpha and beta that I played, and I did enjoy my time with the alpha and with the beta, but because it was a very short slice, I never felt that. I expected it to be slightly repetitive. Yeah. I expected there to be problems. And if those haven't been addressed and the repetition's still there, which I'm reading about and I've heard about is really there. It's kind of like it's like a 30-second loop. Yeah. You'll do this. You'll go somewhere, you'll kill a few things. The Dinklage robot will go off and do something. Then it turns into horde mode. You do horde mode. And then...
Did you ever play Borderlands 1 or 2?
Unfortunately, I didn't.
Okay,
it just didn't appeal to me for some strange reason.
Okay, well, it's similar in the sense that I think that's what Destiny was going for. So you could level up, you can kill all these enemies, get the loot, ammo, whatever. But with Borderlands 1 and 2, at least there was a story. At least there were characters that, even if you didn't care about the story, the characters were engaging enough that you could...
I was about to say, Borderlands was like tongue-in-cheek, wasn't it? It was very much... It was almost like a comedy.
Yeah, Borderlands...
satirical.
Yeah, Borderlands was good, but Borderlands 2 is where they really just went above and beyond with a lot of the writing, so it was hilarious. You didn't care... for me, when I was playing, I didn't care if I died by the massive horde that was coming towards me because I was too busy listening to what these characters are saying and just laughing my ass off, but... With Destiny, there's nothing that really hooks me to want to play more than, 2 hours. I feel like I should be, staying up till 2 a.m. playing this game like I did Diablo 3. Like Diablo 3, I could not stop playing. But with Destiny, I got bored. I would just get bored.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I don't think you're the only one. I think a lot of people have got bored with it.
And again, it's disappointing because, with Bungie just going off and doing something different, trying to separate themselves from Halo, to me, I don't think that they did a very good job. It's not to say that I'm pretty sure there's going to be a sequel to Destiny. I would just hope that everything or almost everything that they got wrong with Destiny, they corrected. By the time
it might be like Assassin's Creed, because the first Assassin's Creed bored the shit out of me.
The first
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy the game, but it got very tiring very quickly.
Yeah,
but the second one, obviously, much better.
Yeah.
Third one, whatever.
Yeah.
And you look at the last one, Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah,
fantastic. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I agree. Like Assassin's Creed 2 is hands down one of my favorites, and 3 can go to hell. Well. But that's just been my main issue with Destiny. I wasn't going into it expecting something great, because if I had my expectations low and then I was surprised, then good, Destiny did something different, but I don't feel that it is. And just there's the Fallen, the Hive, and the Darkness, and I feel like the Fallen they're the Covenant, the Hive is the Flood.
It's the Flood,
and the Darkness is I don't even remember at this point. But those two, it's just
when it comes to the story, because when I played the alpha and beta, I was struggling to understand the story, although it tried to kind of, I think it was doing it mainly through Dinklage.
Yeah, well,
but his performance was a little bit dry.
Yeah, almost everything that
almost
he
robotic.
Says, yes, almost everything.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No pun intended.
Well, no, I don't think there's any, and I made the point of saying that there's nothing wrong with that. The fact that if he is trying to be a robot and play it kind of completely dead, with emotion, that's fair enough.
Right.
But at least make the writing interesting.
Right. No, I guess
there were definite moments in especially particularly in the beta where it was almost comical the way he delivered the lines. It was almost like he was like, I'm getting paid a shitload of money. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
And that's what I felt from that.
No, and I agree. I mean, I think that, having his name attached to this game, it's a win-win for Bungie regardless, because people are excited that it's something new from Bungie, and then it's Peter Dinklage. But his delivery doesn't get any better. And not only that, but what you played in the alpha is the same thing that you played in the beta, which is also the same mission you play at the very beginning. So not only has the alpha giving me that first level, you give it to me in the beta, and it's the first thing you give me in the game. Really go fuck yourself at that
Old
point.
Russia.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, I'd be really disappointed. I'd just be like, for fuck's sake, I've done this already.
And that's exactly how I felt. I'm like, you couldn't change it up in either the alpha or the beta. You couldn't have given me like the 10th mission and then the 5th mission or something to completely separate itself, to at least have me excited, not play the same repetitive shit over and over again. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a spoiled gamer or anything like that, but
no, I think I think you have every right. When you pay money for something, you're entitled to act like a spoiled gamer. I mean, you didn't. It's not like you got a review copy. I mean, you spent money on this. This is something that you look forward to, and I mean, not. Oh, I've forgotten the point I was going to make. Sorry, totally gone blank. I was going to say something, but yeah, forgotten. When are you going to say something, Ray? I heard you.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not playing Destiny. I don't think I will be playing it anytime soon, unless every other game I'm excited for ends up blowing and I need something to play. I know the one thing that did interest me about the game, fairly early on, like once they started hyping it, I remember Bungie coming out and saying that their game was taking a lot of influence or inspiration from was like Norse mythology and different folklore, legend kind of stuff like that. Yeah, they did, and that's what excited me about it. So that was what I was going to say. Is there any of that in there?
I mean, there's definitely a sense of, you are, what is it, a guardian?
Right.
And you're
of the galaxy.
Yeah, bringing it back. And you are now tasked with this mission of, making sure that the Fallen, don't destroy the last planet or area where, civilization is. But then as you progress, you come to find out that the darkness has been, gathering their troops, so to speak, to, come and attack. But there was also someone else, the Traveler, who was also tasked with a mission. So, you go on and you start to learn about the different enemies and, what their sole purpose is in all of this. And, you learn more about the Traveler. I mean, but I just wish there was more. I wish there was more of that folklore of, at least some sort of truth, like Assassin's Creed. At least when you're playing these games, you know that there is some factual history in there that keeps you engaged because you know that those events took place, and then they just put a different twist on it, which you either like it or you don't.
Yeah, it's like a pseudo history, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't get that sense with Destiny. I don't feel like there's events or things to keep me engaged. And I mean, I've said it before, I like good stories. It doesn't matter what kind of genre the game is. I like a good story. I want something to keep me engaged, because if not, I'm going to play it and then I'm out the money if I don't ever come back to it. It's like Watch Dogs. I'm probably not going to play that game.
Well, this is why I said earlier on in the week that it feels like the next generation of consoles are still waiting for that killer game. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to piss everybody off. I'm going to say that it's going to be GTA 5. It's going to be a game from last gen.
You're right.
That's going to be the game that everyone goes, oh my God, it's so amazing. And it's just going to be like, well, I wouldn't be surprised that, if you're right, because my friend who just traded in his 360 is like, how are you liking Destiny? And I talked to him about it. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm going to hold off on it. But he's like, man, when GTA 5 comes to Xbox One, what? I'm on that shit. And he's already done everything that there is to do on the 360 version. And he's going to play that game again. There's so many cross-generation games. So
it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
I mean, Destiny's cross-generation. I mean, that's 360 and PS3, isn't it?
Yeah, 360 and PS3.
So we got that. I mean, GTA 5, when that hits, I mean, that's obviously already out, although they're not developing it in tandem. So they should be able to improve it exponentially. But it's essentially going to be the same game, just with prettier graphics.
Yeah.
What else? Alien Isolation. That's another cross-gen title.
Yes.
Do you know what I think is going to be a real sleeper hit? I think that's going to be Drive Club. That game looks insane. Just on graphics alone, it looks incredible. Whether or not it plays like... Well, I'm hoping, right, if you've ever played a game called... this is going to show my age here, but a game called Metropolis Street Racer. It was on the Dreamcast. Bit of love for the Dreamcast here. Like, if you... well, you probably didn't play that game, but you probably played the game after it, which is called Project Gotham, which is on the 360.
Project Gotham, yeah.
The, Project Gotham Racing, same game. And to me, Drive Club feels like it's going to be that kind of a game where it's not about shaving 1/10 of a second off of your lap time. It's about enjoying, like, driving and drifting around corners, but not drifting for the fact that you need to drift because it's a drift event, but drifting because it's fucking fun to do, and that's what it seems like to me. And if you look at some of the screens, it looks absolutely amazing. So I think because it's also going to be a PS Plus title as well, like a cut down version of it, I think a lot of people will buy it, really enjoy what they get from it. And I've just got a feeling it's going to be a bit of a sleeper hit, and it'll, a lot of people will be so pleasantly surprised by it that they'll end up purchasing the full version. I mean, I'm already thinking about it myself after just seeing the way it plays on some videos. And it's not like me to suddenly want to go and get something on day one. I'm not that kind of person, unless it's GTA and then I'm a sucker. But I definitely think Drive Club's going to be a bit of a hit. And it's the whole point I was trying to make was the fact that it's not a cross-gen title.
Good. That's good. I mean,
many other
really
games have been cross-gen.
Right. I really wish that, some studios would just take that chance and just go full next gen. Just do it.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of playing it safe. There's no reason
why. Right. I mean, it's video
Destiny
games.
Is pretty safe, isn't it? Yeah.
I feel it is. I don't feel that there's anything engaging. Although I have heard of with their raids, with their big online events that they do, I guess they've made them rather difficult because the first one took 10 hours to complete and it was 6 people. So I can only imagine the level of difficulty that it was. But I think you also had to be a certain level to true. I mean, I could spend
10... Well, I was going to say that I could spend 10 hours plucking the hairs out of my legs. I wouldn't particularly enjoy it, but it'd take me 10 hours. So, I mean, if that 10 hours is the same as the kind of campaign, then they haven't really achieved anything other than extending the pain.
Yeah, I think that I think that's something that they got wrong too by making some things level specific. But again, I mean, I can go on and on about Destiny, but we're gonna say goodbye to that for right now, and then we're actually gonna bring it to a close. So, with that being said, is there anything else that you feel we didn't touch on, that you think we needed to touch on, that our 6 wonderful listeners need to know?
Well, I think it's 7.
You think it's 7, lucky number 7?
Well, Jim, you want to talk about Microsoft?
Yeah, Minecraft.
Okay.
Microsoft, Mojang. And I just want to address what a lot of people seem to be like really, really afraid of this whole thing, this whole Microsoft buying Mojang. Bit of an understandable knee-jerk reaction considering what Microsoft did to Rare. They bought Rare and took a beloved studio for quite a few people, myself included. Made some great games and run them into the ground. Made them produce shit games that didn't do very well, and then relegated them to Kinect Sports. And yeah, I mean, I think the only game that Rare made for Microsoft that was worth playing was Viva Pinata. And laugh all you want. It was a great game. It was
that's a solid game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a classic Rare game. Levels upon levels of depth. It was brilliant. And I think people are wondering what Microsoft are going to do with Mojang. Oh my God, are they going to run them into the ground? Obviously, Notch has got his money. He's going to be off. So's a couple of the other founders of the studio. They're going to be taking their money and they're going to be going. So
yeah,
I can understand people's worry that Microsoft are going to do the same with Mojang they did with Rare, but I don't think they will. I think Microsoft are smart. I mean, they're not going to drop $2.5 billion on something only to run it into the fucking ground.
Yeah, they're not. They're gonna relegate them to making shovelware kind of stuff. Yeah.
No.
That being said, I don't really care what they do with Mojang, and like if it were to be the same thing that happened to Rare, it doesn't really bother me. I don't care much about Minecraft. Nor has Mojang as a studio done anything else besides that.
No, that's true. That's true.
So we're not missing anything then, Is Minecraft even finished?
No, no, it's not.
Okay.
No, Minecraft isn't finished. I think the last version was 1.8.
Okay.
So it's still getting updated. And I like, the funny thing is people were going off like, oh, we won't get any updates. We won't get any updates. It's like, dude, you've had like 2.5 years of continuous updates. If they stopped updating the game tomorrow and said that's it, that's your game.
You can make working computers in that game now, can't you? You should be fun.
Exactly. I mean, I love Minecraft. I really do. I mean, I spend a lot of time every now and then just building my world or exploring. It's a great game, and everyone knows it's a great game for kids as well. I'm not going to dwell on that. But if Mojang were to suddenly stop making Minecraft and suddenly was to concentrate on something else, and that the whole Minecraft era would come to an end, then it's had a good run. It will still continue on. People will still play it regardless. It's a very solid game. It's a great game. It's a great experience. I think what might happen is that Microsoft might look to pull back their slightly disappointing start for the next generation of consoles.
Right.
And the Xbox One is doing badly.
Terribly.
There's no doubt about it. It is dying. It is dying on its arse. It's doing and I'm going to get slightly teary, but it's doing a bit of a Dreamcast.
Oh.
But yeah. I don't see it lasting for another couple of years. It will just die off. And I think Microsoft, when they bought Mojang, are thinking very long term in the future. And
I would venture to say that has to be the reason that they did. You don't spend $2.5 billion on something that you're not expecting to see a serious return on.
Yeah.
So I think in many ways, yes, maybe they're future-proofing themselves, because as a company, I don't think they're sitting there looking at their sales numbers on the Xbox One saying, oh shit, something's got to give or else we're screwed. Obviously, that's not the case.
Right.
But
I agree.
I think smart.
Yeah, I think it is very smart. Yeah. It's very astute.
I think,
and
they should let Rare come back now.
I think Rare should be put to bed, to be honest.
Yeah, or just take him outside and shoot him in the back of the head.
Yeah,
have Conker do it.
I mean,
that'd be funny.
And it's a possibility that Microsoft will recover at some point, but it probably won't be maybe until next year or the year after, until they come, until Halo 5 comes out. Because you whoever hasn't bought an Xbox One yet, and if they're waiting,
do you know what's going to happen
for Halo 5, they're going to get that. Or any fans of Gears, even though Black Tusk took that on, it's a possibility that some longtime fans are waiting. So I don't know.
See, this is what I think is going to happen. It's a bit of a long shot, but it does have it has a sound logic behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there will be an Xbox One Elite. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Xbox One Elite has an upgraded GPU, an upgraded hard drive, an upgraded RAM.
Right.
And I think, it would be bad of Microsoft to do, but I don't think they've sold enough numbers for them to really care. Do you know what I mean? I think there might be an upgrade program for people that already own an existing Xbox One to upgrade to, say, the new Xbox Elite, if it ever happens.
That is interesting, and that doesn't surprise me. Actually,
I'm talking obviously like a couple of maybe a year and a half, 2 years down the line.
2016 holiday. Guess what we're bringing out? Damn, that's wow. Yeah, I think it's speechless. That's a good idea. Or an interesting idea.
Shall I get on the line to Redmond?
Yeah. Can we copyright the idea and sell it to them for 2.5?
Yeah, mate.
That brings us back to our conversation before we recorded. If you gave me that much money, I'd be dead in about 12 hours.
Mate, I'd beat you, Ray. I'd be dead. I'd be dead before they even gave me the check.
I would suicide before they even told me they were writing the check. Then just to spite you, okay? I'd be like, don't even bother, guys. I'm just gonna walk off a bridge right now. And on that morbid note,
yeah,
right.
Thanks all 7 listeners.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sticking with it.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to talk about other than like us, subscribe,
and
just
send it. A bit of a freestyle one this week.
Yeah.
Those damn iPhones messing everything up.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm Ray. Don't follow me on Twitter. Go to entertainmentbuddha.com instead. I'm going to be upfront about it. It's been a blast talking to both my 2 fellow hosts and all 8 of you in the internet at large.
8? We've gone up to.
Yeah, I actually I got a notification. We got another viewer or listener, whatever the hell we want to call it. All right, guys, it's been fun. I'm rambling now.
All right.
Entertainmentbuddha.com. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Laters.